There is a picture here, a classical appearance of a partial mole. You can see that. We can look at this mole, which is very much cystically dilated. It contains edema. You look at that, there is no blood vessel at all, avascular completely, no blood vessels. A mole should contain a blood vessel, which is absent here. This is also another avascular cystically dilated villi. This is also a cystically dilated villi. So these are all abnormal. But look at this area. These villi are classically normal. It is not edematous. There are blood vessels, though we cannot see that. We need a microscopy, a higher magnification to see them. So this is a microscopic appearance of a partial hydatidiform mole. Now I want you to see this structure. What do you think is this? This is a ultrasound finding of a patient with a hydatidiform mole. It could be complete or partial. What I would like to tell you here, if you look at this appearance, it is the appearance of a H mole within the uterus, and which is classically known as a snowstorm appearance. So this is an important ultrasound finding. You see again here the color one. This is finding is a hydatidiform mole. We cannot see any fetus over here. So ultrasound can give a very impressive and the good diagnosis of the hydatidiform mole. So you see again here the color one. This is finding is a hydatidiform mole. We cannot see any fetus over here. So ultrasound can give a very impressive and the good diagnosis of the hydatidiform mole. So coming back here, it is a microscopy of the partial H mole. So the clinical signs are like that. Basically, you can see the mother who is pregnancy test positive. You can see the uterus is growing very rapidly. So the mother might think that my child is really growing good, which is not actually correct thing. So this is an important word. Uterus too large for the dates. You can even the mother can appreciate the uterus is big enough in the first trimester to see. And normally you cannot see the uterus in the first trimester. You can appreciate some vaginal bleeding in the mother. Morning sickness can be excessive because of the high estrogen level. Some patient may complain of passage of vesicles, like a grape-like structures with a vaginal bleeding. So mostly you get all the complications by 12 to 14 weeks. So these are the signs and symptoms of the H mole. Now next one is we going to discuss about the choriocarcinomas. So let me ask you a question: which particular mole can become a choriocarcinoma? Yes, it is a complete mole. Now I want you to understand these two basic things. Choriocarcinoma can occur from the trophoblastic cell, which is from the uterus, and definitely in that case we get a history of a pregnancy. However, the choriocarcinoma can also occur from the ovary and testis. In that particular case, it is not a trophoblastic cell. It is not a trophoblastic cell. It is a totipotent stem cell which are present in the testis or ovary. You please do not forget it. So choriocarcinoma occurring in the uterus has a different cell of origin. Choriocarcinoma occurring in the testis or ovary has a different cell of origin. Please do not forget it. So what we are discussing here, a choriocarcinoma from the placenta, gestational choriocarcinoma, which is trophoblastic in origin. So it is naturally more common before the age of 20 years, after the age of 40 years. 50% of the people who is having a choriocarcinoma has a history of a complete mole. 25% cases choriocarcinoma occur after abortion, and some of them occurring after a normal pregnancy. This tells you that complete mole is the most common cause of choriocarcinoma. So as once again general features, uterus onset choriocarcinoma is known as gestational choriocarcinoma. Choriocarcinomas has a classical sites of metastasis like lungs, vagina, brain, liver and kidney, and in spite of the fact we call it a carcinoma, we call it a carcinoma because it is a trophoblastic cell origin tissue. The route of metastasis is the hematogenous, travels via blood. Remember the lungs, it is one of the most common site for the metastasis of the choriocarcinoma. So whenever you suspect a patient with a choriocarcinoma, you make sure that you take a chest X-ray. It's a very important regular process of a choriocarcinoma. Now choriocarcinoma, how do you diagnose it? Now this is a simple single test that we must understand is raising titer of the beta HCG. So how does it look like? Now I am trying to draw a graph so that it will help you out. So this axis is basically the time, and this axis is a beta HCG level. During the pregnancy you expect to get a high level of beta HCG. After the pregnancy this beta HCG level should come down. Now what happens if the pregnancy onset choriocarcinoma is present? This beta HCG level may come down for a very brief period of time, but soon after that it will climb up. And if we have this kind of graph, we should think of a choriocarcinoma. This is same as true for a hydatidiform mole onset choriocarcinoma. Suppose the patient has a complete mole, so naturally the patient has a high level of beta HCG in the serum or urine. So when there is a mole, what is the treatment or management? You do a curettage. You scoop the mole out from the uterus. So after you scoop the mole out, this beta HCG level must go down. But if it produces a carcinoma, it will come down for a brief period of time and once again it will go up. So this rising titer, if we observe in a patient, remember that you must keep on observing the beta HCG level in a pregnant lady or in a patient with a complete mole. Always you do that. Particularly in the uncomplicated pregnancy you have to do that. But in the complete mole is a regular procedure. And this is how you can probably detect the presence or onset of a choriocarcinoma. Now despite this tumor being very aggressive, hemorrhagic, note the word, this tumor respond extremely well in chemotherapy. But here there is a small catch. What is the catch? Chemotherapy should be effective only in those tumors arising from the trophoblast. It means it is the gestational choriocarcinoma only respond well to the chemotherapy, but not which is arising from the testis and ovary. I can tell you from my experience, I have seen a patient who came with a lung metastasis in a choriocarcinoma. They gave the chemotherapy on day 1, day 2, and on the third day we see the patient is absolutely normal. It is such a good and remarkable recovery we can get if it is a gestational choriocarcinoma with a chemotherapy. So chemotherapy is a very important point to